My name is Mark Boutwell. I'm the CEO of Perfect Gardens. Today we have another great day where we're going to be talking about month 4 of what to expect from a forced economic shutdown. Starla?
And please like this video, subscribe, share, and comment below what you think.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, tip of the day is how to save toilet paper. It's called a handkerchief. Okay, my father used to force me to carry this my entire life, and I have rejected it many times, but I've also many times been very happy that I had it on me. So
No. Sage.
excuse me, Sage.
Sadie. There you go.
And I'm very grateful that I have had this on me. So if anyone's out there, remember we were talking about instead of going. So in another video I was talking about instead of going straight down the same option everyone else is doing, use another option. A handkerchief is something that can alleviate the tension on the system, because we're going through a panic right now. We're not going through an actual emergency, but because of the panic we're creating an emergency, and by having a handkerchief it's going to help use less toilet paper, which will create less of a demand on the toilet paper industry and help fix things. River.
I just wanted to add on one of the good things about handkerchiefs is that you can reuse them. Yeah.
You can reuse handkerchiefs. And I agree with River. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you for being involved. Remember to encourage children when they want to involve and they want to participate. So many times we want to get our own thoughts out. At that time we have to be a follower and let them be the leader, and so that they can share their thoughts and viewpoints and opinions. So month 4, what to expect. So at the end of month 3 we're dealing with people that are going through what? So we're dealing with what type of problems? What 3 major problems?
Low supply on food and water and medicine and shelter.
Exactly. So the medicine part, what might be happening if people are falling off their meds because of the supply chain issue?
They'll maybe kill themselves or try to do suicide, or hurt themselves, or kind of do crazy things.
Or hurt other people. Absolutely. This is the time where I'm actually also very concerned hurting one of your family or friends or loved ones, because you're dealing with someone that has a lot of energy. They're an adult. They can inflict harm on other people, and you are also might be going through some level of paranoia or fear or just sheer hunger, withdrawal, fatigue, and you have a weapon, and you hit a climax or a point of no return. You think that you have to do something, or it's a you versus them type mentality. So for month 4 is going to be dealing with people still with this problem. Whether new people are going into the problem because their supply chain has finally run out, or if people are slowly weaning themselves off and they completely go cold turkey, they might be slightly irritated, which might create an argument, which might lead to and escalate to a domestic dispute. And once again, most people are concerned about what people coming in and breaking into the home. They're either going to win the situation and get the upper hand, or you're going to be able to get the upper hand. Either or, at that point, you either were trained properly for the situation, or you get lucky, or they get lucky, or they trained or prepared better for the situation. Although the domestic disputes you might be dealing with on a daily basis, that you can't just react like that because of family members, those are the ones we have to be prepared for. At this point, people that have been weaning off and have already been going through withdrawals for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I would highly recommend, if you are an adult, the outsource of getting food and preparing food and water to the kids for this person right now. Remember, involve the children, just like how I'm doing right now. We've created a homeschooling situation, but within the second week, in a very light situation, I'm bringing awareness to the children so that if something worst case scenario happens, they're mentally prepared. It's not so traumatic. They're going to be going through less post-traumatic stress moments later in life because they were mentally prepared for the situation, and it's not going to be so abrupt. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying, hopefully, worst case scenario doesn't happen, but the best thing we can possibly do is create a safe, healthy environment on a daily basis until things return to normal, or we don't create an unhealthy environment where nothing ever actually ends up happening, but we end up creating psychological damage to our loved ones because of our own emotional state and our own panic. So month 4, outsourcing the small jobs to the kids, cleaning up, cooking. Let's talk about what are some of the things that you think by month 4 the kids could take more responsibility over.
Cooking.
Doing the dishwasher.
Yeah. Washing dishes. If you have a dog, taking the dog for a walk.
Maybe feeding the dogs too if you have a dog.
Yeah, or taking care of like your siblings.
Okay, so as you hear from the kids, just in month 4 or earlier, they're picking up a lot of the things that normally an adult would do because the kids would be at school, you're at the house, you're in the regular paradigm, you're washing the dishes, you're walking the dog potentially, you're taking care of the baby, their infant. But at this point now, all hands on deck. You got to get the kids on board. They have to have an understanding what's going on. Instead of going to school for 8 hours, you might just have 1 or 2 quick school sessions, okay, where it's very light, it's very simple. You explain something, you help them understand, and the homeschooling might be them just getting more helpful around the house. And as that becomes more efficient, then give them a small reading assignment, or give them a small arithmetic assignment, or maybe in your class you incorporate a little bit of history. But you might not be focused on this huge educational program because, remember...
Mike?
Yeah.
Kids will also, because some schools will be sending out like stuff to do on like the computers. Like it's kind of like a school class.
It's a class on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, finding a homeschooling program, whether it's something the school is providing to them, or whether you get online, and I'll make sure to find something and include it down below in the instructions, or actually include another class about homeschooling and all the different options out there. These are all things that can happen that you could start doing immediately and move forward. You're taking care of your household through withdrawals. You're outsourcing some of the responsibility to the kids, and you're providing structure to them, because the kids at the end of the day are going to have a lot of energy, and by giving them a structured schedule and helping them tailor their energy, you're going to be able to focus on other things that maybe it's a small job that you could do to bring in some income in. Maybe it's you bartered with neighbors to go chop down some wood to stay warm for the winter. Who knows what you might have to do. But the kids being able to run the household while you leave, and you come back home, the house not being burned down, but you actually come back home and you have a home cooked meal. Especially if you are a single mother, a single father, and you don't have two parents, or you don't have 2 adults in the household, being able to rely on your kids to do things that they otherwise might not normally have done in the old paradigm, it will be extremely helpful. Having responsible young adults running around versus reckless children that have no core values or structure, especially as we lead into month 5.
Wait.
What are the things you think could happen in month 4, or how you could be helpful?
Not like asking a bunch of help of parents, or just if you have like a problem or something, just try to figure it out on your own, or think about the answer before you do that.
Okay, so this is another great suggestion that kids, or that you as a parent, in month 3 and month 4, you're training them, you're conditioning them, you're developing them, and in this situation, you're encouraging them to take action in a safe training environment before, who knows, something worst case scenario happens, or a whole nother paradigm gets created in a few months or a year from now, and you just need to be able to rely on them while you have to go do a little bit harder struggle being being the parent. So just like River said, encouraging them to think of a solution, bring you a solution before they ask you for help, so that you are not being distracted from the larger task at hand, being trying to build your own situational awareness around what's happening in your environment, whether you're living in an apartment, a house, a duplex, a complex, or even just a neighborhood, or even larger. You might have a larger area you have to be aware of. All of these situational awarenesses and all these skills, you might have been preparing for it, but now they're live, so a mistake could escalate a problem into an emergency, or it could escalate a little campfire into a wildfire. And so just understand that whole situation, that the less things that you are worried about and concerned about, and you're able to outsource, you'll be able to focus on and give more attention to. River, another thing?
So, you know how you have 7 classes? Homeschooling doesn't only have to be those 7 classes. Couldn't it be like more like this? This is kind of like homeschooling, but it's not part of any type of class.
100%. So just like River's saying, we're shifting the mental constructs of what school is. If you are in the wilderness, living in the wilderness, homeschooling might be different. It might be learning how to pick the right herbs so that you can take those to market and barter for something else. Maybe you live in the city. Maybe your responsibility is learning how to garden and plant the garden, and so that's the schooling you're going to have to do. So instead of with excess wealth, we're able to spend a large amount of time learning a lot of different things and broaden our education. Although when we don't have a large amount of resources, we have to become proficient at what we do, because becoming proficient, you're then able to become a much more reliable, disciplined human being, capable of being relied on. Any other suggestions or things?
No.
Month 4 is about training your inner circle, bringing them to raising their awareness, developing the routine and structure. What's the best thing you could do in month 4 in your internal circle? Help out, learning, outsource, encourage the kids to take more responsibility and be more helpful. And then also, while the kids are taking their energy and bringing it inward, making a safe environment, you're able to take your attention outward and see what's happening. Maybe you end up taking a nap during the day while the kids go and do their routine, because you got a nice solid schedule going, which you're able to then stay awake at night and kind of keep a soft perimeter. I mean, you're not paranoid, you're not looking outside, you're not, and who knows where you live. Maybe you live in East LA and you got to be like that. So it's all dependent upon where you live, but you got to bring your situational awareness up. You got to bring your skills and activate those skills, activate that preparedness, not to a point where you're paranoid every day, but maybe depending upon where you are, you have to be paranoid, because you're not paranoid. It's just what is the situation you're in. And maybe you're someone else that lives out in the middle of nowhere, and you just don't care about anything. Well, maybe you're walking the perimeter a little bit more. You're just looking for small changes. Whatever it is, you're furthering the structure internally in your own household, so you're creating less long-term psychological damage, and you're mentally preparing them for a traumatic change. And at the same time, by doing that, you're able to conserve your energy as an adult, so you're able to protect your perimeter just in case things may happen, because people during this time, they will be falling off their meds. Anyone that didn't watch this video and prepare, they might be falling off their meds, going through withdrawals, and they are going to want their fix. They're going to be hungry. they're going to want a resource, and they might want to get into your perimeter. And they're going to be looking for people that aren't that have a weak perimeter. They're going to look for victims because they themselves at this point are fairly weak and frail themselves, but they're desperate. And desperate, frail people are at times are the most dangerous. I hope this was helpful for month 4 of what to expect and what you can do, whether you're a parent or a child. If you don't have the time to homeschool and you like these videos, just share this video with your child. Sit them down, watch this video, ask them to watch it, and then talk about it after for a few minutes while you're at dinner or something. Thank you so much. River?
Subscribe.
Starla?
And like!
Thank you guys. Please comment. Tell me what you're doing in month 4 to make a better environment.